Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next episode of The Female Fist. I have a guest with us today that's very far away, but has had some very notable accomplishments that I've been watching her for a long time, and I'm super, super impressed with her. She's definitely somebody that I take a lot of admiration from. She won silver at the Olympic qualifiers, this past Olympic qualifiers. She has also won the Australian Championship 3 times. She also won silver at the Commonwealth Games, and she just won her first pro debut boxing bout. Please welcome from Australia, Viviana Ruiz. How are you doing,
Hi.
Viviana?
Hi. Yeah, very good, Scarlett. Super happy to have the time for us to have a chat and just talk to some also well-known boxer from Canada. So that's very exciting. That's very exciting. Women's are taking over boxing, and we
Yes, we
need to
are.
keep helping each other and keep growing together. Yeah.
I'm really excited for our conversation because I think that we have a lot of things in common, and I think we have a lot of really interesting and dynamic topics to cover. So we were just talking about this before we went live. You're from Colombia.
Correct. Yeah, I'm
You live
from
in
Bogota,
Australia.
from capital city,
Where? Sorry, say
close
it
to
again.
you. From Bogota, from the capital city.
Bogota, yeah. Yeah, not too far from me, like we were just saying, right? My dad in Ecuador, he's from Roco Fuerte in Puerto Viejo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never been in Ecuador. Like it's weird when you live in South America or in your own country, you don't really travel. Like I just started traveling when I came to Australia, and I went to South America for a South American trip. Like that's weird.
Oh,
Like you from
really?
South America, you travel. I know.
It's funny,
It's
eh?
just
How
funny.
like you get so comfortable like in your surroundings and you don't actually like you always think everywhere else is so cool. And you don't bother like looking
Yeah,
around. It's like
yeah, no. And
so
the other
now
thing
you're
is
in
that
Australia though.
yes, correct.
So
No,
why did you
so
choose
far.
Australia? And like how come like for example not the United States or Canada or somewhere else? Why Australia particularly?
So when I start sort of thinking about moving from Colombia, um, America is almost impossible because we're Colombians, and that's a fact. Obviously, that everyone knows that we have the label on us, and it's fair enough. Of all the drug problems and things like that. Um, so it's really hard. Like for you to get a even a visa to visit America, it's a miracle. Like I did apply once and I didn't get it. I got rejected. And I've had I'm a telecommunications engineer. I got a diploma degree in network security that I had back home. That I had it still, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, Back home, yeah, I studied for like 7 years. Um, yeah, and then America was definitely not an option. Like it's impossible. Um, Canada, the thing was that it was expensive. Like if you do the comparison with Australia, Australia back then needed a lot of people to migrate here.
Right.
So they were giving you more options, more facilities, more opportunities for you to travel. So that was a boom back then. Like I know that they were doing a lot of advertisement. A lot of people were talking, and I just say, okay, why not Australia? And I
I
just
actually think
went.
I remember that because I was considering going there for school and I knew it was easier being a Canadian to do that. But then I was hearing from my friends that like they were considering just trying to go there because they were having a hard time getting a permanent resident here in Canada, even though they were here on a visa.
Yeah,
So yeah, I remember something about that.
that was the thing. Yeah, the permanent residency. Because yes, you can get a visa in Canada, but it's really hard to get a residency.
Yeah.
In Australia, you plan when you started moving, it's that you can get your residency. There is a process.
Mm,
So from the beginning, they already tells you, well, okay, you need to study here for these many years. You're gonna have this much money. It takes you 3 to 4 years to apply. So there is a path for you
right.
to become a resident. or a citizen. So it's way easier.
Right. Okay. So you made your way to Australia, obviously, and
Mhm.
you were not boxing back in Colombia. You started in
No,
Australia.
yes.
So that's interesting because, of course, it's very common. Latins, they love fighting. Where, you look at some of the top ranked boxers, majority of them, like a lot of them, are Latin American. So
Yes.
how come like that wasn't something back in Colombia? Like, why did you start that in Australia? How did that come into like a whole, you know?
Yeah. So, well, first I want to give you a little bit of thing that like just when I came to Australia, I didn't speak English at all.
See.
Like I just jump on the plane, see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
That's me. See, like I mean, no many people will leave the country. Like I had a very good job back then. I'm an engineer, so the only way for you to have a good quality of life in Colombia is having a degree as a doctor engineer,
Yeah.
sort of thing, like high level yeah, education,
Right.
where you can get a good position in a company and then yeah, progress. So
Okay.
finally, because of my mom worked really hard and she did so much for me that she gave me the opportunity to study. I got that chance, but as soon as you get money, the next step that everyone wants you to do is like, oh, get married, buy a house, have a
Right.
kid. Like that's, and I'm like, no, that's not my world. So I was like, I need to move. I need to do something. And I just didn't even speak English. I was like, okay, we'll go to Australia and see what happens. So
That's
didn't
amazing.
speak the language. Oh my God, it was crazy because imagine the whole flight, everything is in English. Um, no many South Americans go there, so it was
Yep.
just very funny. Everything was like writing, and my phone didn't have internet because back then that was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, so we didn't have that
Like the data
much
plans that there is now.
accessibility.
Yeah.
Everything was on the phone and the coins. And used to call my mom, I'm at the airport, blah blah blah. But yeah, when I came here, it was super funny, funny and hard
So
because you
like
don't.
not even speaking English. And like, did you have like kind of so when you picked like your city, like where you were gonna come to, like did you have like an idea of what you even wanted to do at that time? Or was it just one of those like I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna kind of scope out what's going on, and then I'm gonna kind of pick like that? Or like how did that work for you? It was it just like that?
That was exactly. So
Okay.
idea, the first thing was like, okay, I need to study English, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was how I started. So I came here, paid for a 6 months course, English course. But I didn't buy I didn't buy a return flight. I was like,
Wow.
let's see. I don't know. I don't know. And my mom said, why don't you buy a return flight? I was like, because it could go very well or could go very wrong. And then
I don't want to come back. Yeah.
I don't know. I just like, and we had a huge family back home. So I I still think, why did I do that anyway? But I'm just like, I just like take risk. I'm that person. Um, so yeah, I came here, I studied English 6 months, and straight away fall in love. Like obviously, the difference of quality of life between Colombia and Australia is huge. So when I saw that I could have this beautiful opportunity to, even if it's to stay here for a few years, make money, go back home and live a better life, that's what I wanted. So it's all about my family and things like that. So I just say, look, after the 6 months, I fall in love, and I was like, I'll do anything to stay here. So that's how I started. And
Great.
then boxing came in my life because, um, so when you don't speak a language, you don't have many friends, and then you start losing your identity. And when you're back home, you can talk to your cousin, your friends, and yeah,
Right. Because you must be feeling that regardless, even if you're like, yeah, I want to take this opportunity, but of course you're
yeah,
from your family, you're so far from them. Of course you're
yeah.
gonna miss them.
And you can't just go and come back.
Yeah.
So expensive. um,
And
so
long.
I know. Yeah. Yes, 24 hours, a little bit more so far. Um, so One day I was feeling very down, like, just sad. Why did I do this? Even though I was doing okay, you're like, but I could be better back home. Like, I could have my engineer job, because I was washing dishes. So it was a lot of works that I've done here. All what you have to do. And then I was walking by a street and I saw Fight Gym. It was called Fight Gym.
Fight
I
gym.
was like, okay, yeah, that's it.
That's
And
pretty
had the
like
first session, and I was lucky that I partnered up with a boxer. I can't remember her name because she stopped boxing back then. And she hold pads for me, and she said, "Oh, you're really good. How long you been doing this?" I was like, "Never."
yeah.
First session, and straight away they say, "Look, you got a lot of anger." That's the main thing. I'm like that.
But
So they just asked me, "Do you want to start?" And then that's how it started. I started with a corporate fight. um it's funny, it's on internet. I'm so embarrassed. You watch it, it's just like jump,
I'll
jump,
put the link in the
jump.
video after. Here's the fight.
Oh no, oh my god, I was
Check it out.
wearing a guy's socks, sorry, shorts.
Yeah.
So they so long. I was wearing the sneakers. It's hilarious. Like, you laugh. It's funny. I look at that video, I'm like, because I feel like back in the days, there there were not many females doing boxing.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to find a coach that takes you serious.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Like, all the guys, I think guys get the good process of like good training, proper diet runs and pad work and all what we do. Like, I
Yeah.
know that when I see a girl that wants to fight, I like take her with me. I'm a coach as well at the moment. I take her with me and say, okay, we gotta train hard, we gotta be fit, we gotta have a good technique, because I don't want them to do what I did, because it was just funny.
You want to give them all
And
the experience.
I know.
Yeah.
So because back in the day, nobody takes you serious. Nobody. I guess you went through that too, I imagine, as a
Like my
female.
dad was my coach and he's a really
Oh,
well decorated
oh,
coach in
cool.
Canada. So I
Oh,
don't think it was that they didn't take me seriously. I think that they
okay.
were just kind of nervous to say anything. If that makes sense. But obviously
Yeah.
I do know what
Oh,
you're talking about because still the pool of girls themselves, like I fought like two girls 5 times each. I get it. There's not very many girls, period.
no,
Yeah, there's a
that's
lot more now.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But you were
Yeah, it's the same. But I did went through that where, I mean, a women, you're not gonna do anything. I mean, they don't take you where you actually.
Yeah,
Because my
unless you
first
look like
thought,
mean or you have like tattoos and you're like, then they're like, "Oh, but if you have like a pretty face or if you walk in there with like a really nice attitude, they're like, ah, I used to get it all the
take
time. Why do you want to
serious.
ruin your pretty face? It's like, what do you mean?
I
Yeah.
know.
So I know
That's
exactly what you're talking about.
I think, like, we have to prove so much, but that's okay. I
Yeah.
mean, let's be honest. It was like life always is changing,
Yes.
and luckily we making that change. I don't blame men for it. I don't do it because we put ourselves there. Like back in the days, our moms or whatever, they put themselves there where you're at home and you have kids, and that's your life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then a few women started like coming out and working harder, and a few boxers started showing off that
Yep.
we can box, and now we're taking that as well and we're making it bigger, and
Oh, yeah.
that's
We
why
have a
we
whole
do it.
evolution going on right now for women in
Oh my
sport. It's phenomenal.
god,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I'm so excited to see many female boxers, so many fights. Even myself here, um, well, not at the moment. It's been really hard to find opponents,
Yeah.
but yeah, a lot of women are coming through, and everyone wants to box, and that's nice. And I like that they
Absolutely.
look at us like Christy Harris, as you mentioned, Sky Nichols, or Olympians, like, and they all know the names, Katie Taylor, and like it's so good that they looking up them, and then it's just like I want to be that person. So
Yes.
it is. We making a statement right now.
And I think it's good that like, because way back in the day, the women that were in sports the only ones that would get recognition were the ones that would really, and I say this with a lot of caution, but they would really sexualize themselves, or they
Mhm.
weren't actually in a real sport. They were just, they put on like some sexy kind of fitness outfit or something like that. And the idea of like strong, empowered woman was in a different kind of perspective. But now that you have athletes like you mentioned, Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields, Ronda Rousey, who really made a big revolution for women in MMA, like women like her that obviously don't fit the stereotype. It's like
Mhm.
now they're seeing that these women, doesn't matter what they look like, as beautiful or like whatever their idea of beauty is, women from every background, from every culture, from every country, they're
Okay.
coming in there and they're beautiful and they can actually fight.
I
Or
know.
they're actually really athletic. And now you have them featuring on the front of Ringside magazine, or you have them on the front of all these like magazines that were usually, well even right now, it's, you have women on UFC bouts and boxing bouts, and they're not on separate channels. You have them on the same card. So it's like
Yeah.
slowly getting there. Obviously, the ratio is still different, but more women are a lot more comfortable coming into these sports and like, yeah, I
Yeah.
could do it. Yeah, I could do it. What's the problem? And now
I
people used to
know.
be afraid of women coming in, but now people would think twice about saying you shouldn't be there, because now we all are really
Yeah.
coming together in this, which is an astonishing thing, which is why, like, so you got into boxing, as you mentioned to me earlier, a little bit later, as you would think, than most other people. Like, how do you, so what was that like for you?
Well, that's another hard step there, because obviously, I don't know, managers, promoters, coaches, like with men, they want to grab a small young person, not small, sorry, a young person, and take them to, I don't know, Olympics, Commonwealth Games, world champions. And I mean, when as soon as I say my age, oh my God, the
Yeah,
doors are like, boom,
right.
straight away. Kills me. It kills me because I've got to do so much more. That some girl that is 22 to 27, that's the doors are wide open. Like, you know what I mean? And I started late. Yeah, I get that, but it's not my fault that my life started that way. Because unfortunately, my boxing world started that age. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it before. Back home in Colombia, they are boxers and they have been professional boxers, but no females. There's a few women. And again, as I said, for you to have a good quality of life, you have to be a lawyer, engineer,
Right.
have a degree. Like you have to have that. There's no like here, literally, you can be a world champion or a boxer or whatever you want, working in a coffee shop.
Right.
Like literally, that's how good the economy is in Australia. And that's the difference that it makes. So back home, I couldn't never thought of doing what I'm doing because I didn't have the money. And obviously my family didn't have it. And the economy doesn't allow it. Like I know that our athletes back home that they can do it. They have to stop boxing. They have to stop, I don't know, running, that the dreams on the sport they shut down just because you can't do it. You don't have the support of government, sponsors, or yeah, it's not possible. Here, when I moved here and I had my residency, I became a citizen, things changed. I was like, I can actually work in a cafe, which is what happened. I work in a bank and things like that. But then when I decided, I was like, you know what? I keep working part time and part time boxing. And then you step up with girls like Christy. That's because I know you know her.
Yeah.
But the other amazing girls in on the 51 kilo division, they were full time boxers. And you can never take their sport if you don't become a full time boxer.
Yeah.
So that's when I quit my um, bank job and I started just working at a gym. It didn't matter. Like you can work in a cafe easy, get good money, and then you can actually train. So yes, again, as soon as I say my age, so I had to start like just fight. That's what I
Yeah.
did. I just fought. everyone. Like seriously, it's so quick. I mean, 6 years and I had over six, like around 60 fights. I just went for it. But again, lots of doors closed for me. I didn't get decisions because of politics and the age, which I guess is everywhere. I guess you've been through
Well,
that too.
yeah, like I could say that I think that boxing is one of the most political sports.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
yes.
I can feel your headache because I've been
Oh, it's pain.
yeah,
It's pain. Like for my Commonwealth qualifiers, I won against Christy.
yeah.
Then Adriana Smith, which she was another number one girl. She's the most that I always been in the ring that I was the most scared of.
What's her name?
Oh, Adriana Smith.
Okay.
She's not boxing at the moment, but she did it for like 10 years and things like that. Scary power.
Yeah.
Every time I jump in the ring with her, I was like, oh, here we go.
Ah!
War. Um, and then Taylor Robinson, but she was the upcoming young girl, the youth champ. She's been overseas. They were like building her up, and they took the decision for me that day. I had 4 fights, one against the best, even with her, and then they pick her. I was like, that one hurt.
Yeah,
It hurts. It hurts so much.
I feel for you.
Um,
I do.
and then you start thinking, okay, I'm this age. I think I was 35, I think already, 34, 35. And you're like, why am I doing this? I'm never going to be selected. Um, they always going to pick her over you. You should stop, your head start like, should I start thinking about getting
Start
married?
feeling doubts.
The clock start ticking. That's us. Unfortunately, as females, we
Yeah,
have that, and it's nobody's fault. I mean, it is what it is. We
it is
females,
what it
what
is.
can we do? But it is the truth of a matter that
Yeah.
the clocks start ticking. So you have to start thinking about those things. And I'm stubborn, and I was like, nah, nah. But it is hard to get back into the ring. I couldn't even get to the gym for like I think like 4 weeks. I really couldn't put myself together and get back at it.
Wow.
It hurt. It hurt.
You were there. Like you were there. You were really at that line. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I won. I won clear as day. And I trained so hard and it wasn't fair. I was the winner and it was really broke my heart. That broke my heart. But then what do you do? Then 4 weeks, you start thinking and let's try again. And that's when I won for the Women World Championships. And I went to the Worlds in India. It was amazing, 2018.
Um,
Um, Another great experience. That was crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
I got the opportunity to spar with Mary Khan. Like she's
Oh,
so good. I
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like that was high level. I was with the I don't remember her name, but it's the Chinese number one in
Oh,
the
is that
world. And
did she go to the like she went to the Olympics? Like did she was she in the finals with
yeah,
for 51, she was in the
yeah,
finals with Nicole Adams in 2012?
yes.
That one? Yeah, I
I
can't
think
remember her name. Can?
sorry, no, I can't.
No?
But I got the opportunity to spar against her too. The Russian team is tough as well.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the most amazing experience. I met Sandy Ryans, that I'm a huge fan
Yeah,
of
yeah,
her. She's an amazing boxer.
yeah.
Like the skills that she has, wow. I always admire her. Like she's young. I don't know, I think she's 24. Yeah. So
And it's really
she was
cool to be in that position where you're meeting these other athletes that it's funny, how people look up to these like celebrities, like all these like I don't know, like Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, whatever
yeah.
have you. And for us, like in this world, we're like, wow, look at that athlete. Like they're so
No,
awesome.
my first sparring in
Yeah.
overseas was American, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I froze in the ring. I was like, "You are this because you doubt." I mean, that's what I was going to tell you. So I won gold in Spain at the
Yes.
BOXAM tournament, which damn, that was so
That
good.
must have been just
It's,
amazing.
yeah, you know why? Because it's a long story. Anyway, I won the world's qualifiers. and the Australian team was not going to take me
Oh.
because they didn't expect me to win. Um, exactly. So I had to pay for my own weight there. I did everything. We're like, okay, I'll do it. I'll just take me. Just I deserve to be part of that team,
Of
and
course.
I'm going to the World Championships. So you gotta take me anyway. It's more. It's so much horrible things happen. But anyway, I paid my own way. Got there. Obviously, a few people didn't like me there because I just made it. Um, and then I went and won gold medal when I compete against Germany, Russia, and France, the number ones there, and I
Well,
won
look at
gold. That was,
that. I bet they really got upset when you won gold.
well, they were trying to like say that they were not the number ones, which I did search,
Why
and they
would
were
they even say that? Like, that's so unnecessary. It's like at the end of the day, like, okay, so how many people that
I'm
went
representing the country. I mean, I'm not doing
that's what
this
I
for
mean.
me. I mean, I know. Oh, it hurts. It's
So,
just so
like,
much.
the other people that went, how many came home with gold, excluding yourself?
No, it's just me. For
Just
that
you.
one,
Well, then like, that's one
okay.
of those moments too. It's like, why does it even matter? Like, you didn't even medal with people who probably weren't number one in their
uh,
country either, if you want to say that. Like, whatever.
just let this.
Whatever.
I don't know. You just let it be. I don't care. I was like, I won't go. You can say whatever you want. I
Yeah.
love this, and yeah. And then at the Women World Championships, I how unfortunate is this? I've had the 43 boxes at the 51 kilo division from all over the world. And my first opponent was the Colombian girl. We were like, how is this possible? We were
Did
like,
you like chat before the fight or
no,
no?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, no much chance to chat, but I was very nervous to be honest because she's an Olympian.
What's her name?
Um, Valencia. I forgot her first name. Um, oh, I know Valencia. Oh, forgot. Sorry,
That's okay.
I know her last name, but I haven't followed her for a while.
I thought that like maybe I might like just recognize, but I don't
No,
recognize Valencia, so
she won bronze medal at the 2012
okay.
Olympics. Mm. So the first time that the women were on in the Olympics. So that was very, and she's been now, I don't know, 15, 20 years on the sport.
Wild.
So it was a little bit, it was intimidating, but it was a good fight. I was so happy.
Of
Like,
course.
first big tournament was that one. But then I compete for the Olympic qualifiers. And I said, look, if I don't make it, yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna go pro. And that's what happened. I had a great fight with Christy.
Yeah.
She always bring war. She's so cool. I love her.
Yeah, she's a great
She's
girl.
I I don't I admire when athletes put the work.
Yes.
Like I that you should respect that. You know,
Yes.
I've seen other countries. My coach and myself, we were talking about how talented all the female athletes are in other countries. But the reason for that is because whoever is on the main, if you're number eight, the number one, there's always a number B, a number C behind, one to take the spot.
Yes.
So the coaches, I don't know if that's the case in Canada, but the coaches actually what they do, they just if you lose a tournament or a fight, you're down straight away. You go
Yeah.
down to B or C. So the B has the chance to be up and so forth. So there's three athletes all the time on
Just
competing.
ready.
They won that sport.
Yeah.
So it keeps you on your toes. Unfortunately, Australia doesn't do that. So
Yeah.
you A and that's it.
Yeah, they used to have that system with the A, B teams here. So when I first started, my first 2 years, I didn't go to a nationals because I was just gaining experience. but they used to have, if you won silver at nationals, then you could go to this tournament called the box offs, and then that's where you would be selected for Team Canada B, which would be,
Oh,
as you explained, if something
yeah.
happened to the number one, then you would replace them into whatever tournament or whatever. But now they don't have that. So now
Oh,
it's like what you're saying. Like ever since I've been going to nationals, I've been to like 3 nationals, and they don't have a box off anymore. Now it's just you make it or you don't. And if something happens, then they, pick whoever, like I guess it would be the silver medalist, like they'd ask them like, "Do you, I don't know." Something like that.
but that's why countries like China, Korea, like they do have that. And that's why when you see the tournaments, they have medals on all weight divisions.
Yeah,
Rush with everything because of it. England has that, I think.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. But that's why, like, it's fair. Because that's what I noticed, that I was training so hard, and you can see other athletes not training the same way you are.
Yes.
Like, I was killing myself, and then the other ones, a few of them was like, oh, not doing it. And it's like, because you're the A, so you don't care.
Yeah. And
And
like, you know what? There's a
but
saying.
for example, Christy Harris, one of the ones that she just trains like a machine.
She does. I watch her videos and she's just nonstop. Even when I think she like broke her leg or her knee. I don't want to quote that.
Leg, yeah,
Leg, yeah. And she's like still working out. I'm like, kudos to her. Because
yeah,
there's a saying that's the wolf climbing the hill is always hungrier than the wolf that's on top of the hill.
mm,
So
true.
what you're saying, like, I absolutely agree with it. And
Uh,
you said you can see that with those countries.
like that, but they don't copy that. So anyway, but that got me, yeah, say, look, Olympics, if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna turn pro. Because obviously, because of my age, I actually don't have anywhere else to go in amateurs. That's it. Because I think it's 30. I know it changed. I think it's 40 now.
There's
For
a cap?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can go to the Olympics up until you're 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, there is an age. And I'm like, if I don't go to the Olympics, that's it. I don't want to come on with games and worlds and stuff. That Olympics is the dream, I guess, for
Yeah.
all the
But
amateur.
still, like world championships, Commonwealth Games, like, and not, you didn't just go, like you medaled in the finals in these
And
tournaments and won gold.
no, in the
You,
worlds I didn't. No, no, no. In the worlds in the first round I fought against the Colombian,
yeah,
and I lost against her. And that's it, you're out.
yeah,
Yeah. No, no, no. But yeah, I only had the chance for the Women World Championships, and I lost in the first round. But like, look, it was my first tournament. So I just started working. I'm just proud of these achievements. I mean,
yeah,
in
of
such a
course.
short time and with a home coach, like, I mean, there's no support from teams and staff. It's just home coach. It's a big one. And
Yeah,
then I said, look, I just turned pro. And then the pandemic happened. Ugh.
I know. I know. I
And
know.
I mean, that's not a big deal. I don't complain about that because that's silly. It's the worst thing that happened to people that I'm like, that they, so I was, my pro debut was March last year, 2020, 2019. No, 2020, sorry,
Okay.
brain. um, and then the pandemic happened. And yeah, so I didn't fight 18 months.
I was about to say, so it's been a whole year. Like I didn't even know that you were going to go pro last year.
Yeah, I did. So after the Olympic qualifiers were in November, so straight away I said, okay, we're turning pro. Pandemic happened, and yeah, about 18 months until this fight. Last 21st of April, have had my pro debut. So blessed to had it with such a big event like No Limit Car with the Paul Gallon and Lucas Brown and the car. It
Yeah.
was so good.
I
So
saw the
happy.
pictures and everything, and I was like, "Oh my God, that
You can
is
see the
just
happiness.
amazing."
I was
And
so
I
happy.
saw the stoppage too. Like I watched I was like, damn. And your face when you were going like, like
I look at my face and I'm like, oh my God, I got anger issues.
yeah, like you looked like she took your lunch money or something. Like you looked angry. Like she was saying things to you in the ring or something. You were just like, uh, and then I think the
I
referee was like,
know.
okay, hold on. And then she's gonna kill her.
No, I mean, and she, we're not close friends, but we know each other from the amateurs. She's
Okay.
a she's a accomplished boxer here as well. I think she had over 35. She's been to nationals.
Oh,
She's been
great.
longer in the sport than me. And um, I just messaged her one day because you can't find opponents. I
Yeah.
mean, I was on the gray area that you to experience as an amateur, and then you dangerous. Like it's a fact. Like you can't go for higher people. They will not take you fight because you don't have anything. Literally, I
Right.
don't have a belt to offer, which I'm understanding now how it works. So you can there's national champs here with titles and stuff on my weight divisions, but I don't have anything to offer. So
Right.
that's why I haven't like call out or anything because it's like I don't have things yet.
Right.
So it's not. I don't think it's fair, or I don't know if they will take
It's
it.
like where you're
Uh,
taking boxing and mixing it in with that media, where you're mixing it in with the entertainment.
that's
I
a
get what you're saying.
huge change. That's a huge thing that I'm trying to put my head there because that's what everyone is doing.
Yeah.
Like you gotta do it.
Yeah.
But my goal, my goal as a professional boxer and as a female boxer is to put the social media where it should be, which is hard work,
Yes.
good fights, good promotion. Like I
Yeah.
want people to see us as an athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we pretty and things like that, and but I just feel like I mean I don't look ugly when I'm wearing my I don't feel like I'm ugly when I'm wearing my boxing gear
No, of
or
course you
my
don't.
training gear. My sometimes I lose t-shirt. I feel like I'm still look beautiful.
Of
The
course
same
you
way I
don't.
look beautiful when I don't like makeup too much. So I'm just normally lipstick and yeah. So I want to be the person that just shows hard work, which I think I'm doing quite okay on my social media. Um, so that I wanna, and I love that I inspired a lot of women. Like I get messages from them, like thank you, because they know my age now, so they're like, oh my god, I want to start boxing. So it's a nice feeling to be
Of
honest.
course.
And accomplished boxers such as Sky, Christy, Kay Scott, um, and the MMA fighter Arlene Blanco as well, that they share when I was gonna compete and when I won, and I got the compliments from well-known coaches in Australia as well, saying your performance was what it is, like what is the highlight of the fight, the performance. So that's what was my focus. You know what I mean? Because you
Yes.
can swing with 8 ounce gloves, you can swing and you can try. You know, because they're
Yeah.
so small. Literally, you pretty much
Feels like
hit
air
them.
almost. Yeah.
But I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be the ones that lucky from 20 shots, one landed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it was more a performance. I was looking for that opportunity, and when I saw it, and I saw her eyes and her hands goes, oh man!
You saw
And I,
blood, and that was it.
but then
And
I
that was
know
that face.
the referee said stop. I heard him, but I was like, no, I'm not stopping until like,
Like
take me
pulls you
or
apart. It's a street fight. Until somebody takes you by the hair. Stop it.
grab me. It was so funny. But yeah, great experience, to be honest. It was,
Absolutely. And it's also really important too that when you mention that women are reaching out to you saying like thank you, and not just because of your accomplishments, but also because people don't think that women who are getting up in the numbers that like, oh, why are they still competing? Like, why don't they want to focus on having a baby right now or something like that? They think that like, once you reach a certain age, then it becomes like even dangerous for your fertility. But I
yeah,
think that people have like a really bad misconception about that because women tend to actually peak in their athleticism later on, whereas men
yeah,
tend to have an earlier peak with their athleticism. That's why men usually start earlier in their
yeah,
sports. But for women,
yeah.
like I find myself, oh my God, like I've been competing in sports since I was 15 years old, but like
The
the
best time.
athlete that I was when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, all the way to like 22, like
Yeah,
me right now, I would beat the crap out of my 20-year-old self.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah. That,
usually for men, it would be the opposite way because when they're
that's
younger,
good.
there's so much more like, you know what I mean? But I feel like I would totally beat myself up 20, like when I was
Yeah,
20, you know?
that's very true. Like I think it gets to certain age that not not you just not train harder, but smarter.
Smarter.
Like you
Yeah.
start things that we didn't know, like recovery. Why do you run? Why do you run this many Ks? Why do you do strength? Like
Right.
I wrote it on my post on Instagram that I know I had two weaknesses as an amateur, which I wanted to change, which was my strength and my diet, because obviously the diet I was doing on my own, as
Yeah.
you know. So a lot of vegetables, and small and salads. That's it. Like and carbs only when after the fight, things like that. Not enough hydration, and I always look weak. So I was so happy the way I look on the way in because I was surprised even with myself. I was like, wow, I can't believe I had that body. I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, girl.
Yeah.
I was so proud because, and I also, so I did my diet with the fight dietitian, and they really changed my game because I didn't know I was. You don't need enough. Like you, my portions now are like what? I didn't know I could eat that much
Yeah.
and lose weight. It's like that was one, and the second one was my strength. I used to do my own strength as well, so wrong because all what you do is squats, push-ups, lambles,
Yeah.
and battle ropes, but you just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's never a purpose for it. So yeah, I worked really hard on those 16 months on those two, and the results are there. So it's cool. Really.
Absolutely. And what a difference it makes. Like, I think that athletes, well, because I mentioned my dad, he used to coach me. He's been in the industry for over 20 years. And I would get into these arguments with him because I'd say, no, dad, I need to eat this. And he'd be like, no, Scar. And I'm like, but you're thinking like how what you used to eat as a
Uh,
man when you were 20, like my body's different. I'm not a 20-year-old
yes.
male, Or even
Also,
like he'd
with
want me to
my
go running for hours. And I'm like, no,
good
dad,
people.
actually, you know, he's like, back in my days. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you're falling apart now. A
I
lot
know
of
that's
old
why.
time boxers are like breaking. And I mean, you know what I mean? Not to say that they weren't absolutely amazing legends, but what we
Yeah,
know now, we can prevent those things, you know?
exactly. Injuries and things like that. Oh, especially with us females, we had a lot of problems with our hormones.
Yeah,
Hormones.
yeah.
Hormones. That's why men can actually play a little bit more with their food, but we can. We
No.
actually have to be eating so different
Yeah.
because yeah, the iron we burn, the B12, that's
And we have
way high.
our monthly gifts and stuff. And even that alone, like,
Oh, I got that like 2 days before my fight. It was just
isn't that the worst?
ah,
Like, and then everybody's like, you were just on weight the other day. It's like, yeah, but like, you know what I mean?
funny.
I
And I
always
go
got it every tournament.
few. Oh my God. I've got
Everything.
in a few,
Yeah.
even a few, but when it happens, it's just you just have to deal with it. I wish men understand the way we feel.
They
So
never
I
will.
feel we feel more. It's more emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like right now, my current coach, Sydney Vanderpool. So he's got myself, he's got Mandy Bujold, and he has
Yeah.
our current 64 kilogram Canadian champion, Caitlin Clark, and he's also got Mackenzie Wright. So all of us girls, and we're just
Wow.
like isolated team because we're all helping Mandy get to her Olympics. Like we're her
Olympic.
training
Yeah.
team, right? So it's just us in the gym, and we're like the amount of tears that this man is gonna have to deal with.
My coach has the same problem
Yeah.
because he used to coach the women's team, um and then it was exactly the same. He got used to it to like sometimes you spar and you get out and you did amazing and then tears,
You start
just
crying.
everything hurt, and he's like, what happened? Did you get hurt? I was like, no, I'm just crying. Or hitting the back and then you start crying.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you do it. You cry, you go, leave me alone.
Because guys, they'll just like go hit something, or they're like, they get out of the ring, they go like, ah, and then they leave or something, We're crying. We're
It's
just different.
so funny because
Yeah.
we do cry a lot, a little bit. Yeah, yeah. That's what we pretty much. uh,
Well, you know what? Like, I absolutely loved having this chat with you, and I love getting to know you more. This is so cool because, you know,
yeah,
here you are, this decorated boxer, just on the other side of the world. And we're like from the same, we come from the same background, we're the same weight class. And a lot of stories that you're telling me, like, there's so many stories that I think of that just relate with you. And it's so funny. And we're just on two sides of the world,
I
I think
know.
that's so cool.
It is nice. I love sharing these kind of experiences because when I started, there was nowhere to look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no way. And then when you look at the girls that were up there, they never share anything. They always, everything was perfect and everything was paid and life is just easy. And then you think, oh my God, so I'm doing everything wrong because I'm going through this struggle, that struggle, that. And then you like, there's nobody that actually shares these struggles that when you hear them, you're like, okay, we humans, like I can go through this,
Well,
things like
yeah,
that.
because as you're saying, back then there weren't these kinds of social media platforms. That's as destructive as social media can be in some things, it can also be, it could just depend on how you use it. And,
Exactly.
I always thought that this podcast specifically, The Female Fist, I love getting females on here and giving them that platform to share their story because you never know who's listening. You never
Yeah.
know who needs to relate to your unique story. I had
Yeah.
last week Maureen Shea. Do you know Maureen Shea?
No.
So she's considered the real $1 million baby. Back when that movie came out, Hilary Swank was her sparring
Yeah.
partner, Maureen
Yeah.
Shea. She's a very well decorated boxer. She's like one of the pioneers for women's boxing. Herself still an active professional boxer. She's a fantastic woman. I had a great conversation with her last week. But we said, like, you know what? Like all the hard work that she did, and now she's so happy that girls are getting these opportunities, like going to the Olympics and,
Mm.
having more of a platform. And I said, like, and the evolution is continuing with girls
Mm.
like yourself, with girls like me, every time we do something that we're sharing with the community because we're still up and coming. It's
Up and
just
come.
giving more out there for women to look
Yeah.
at and be like, I feel what she's saying. And now this is inspiring me, whether it be in boxing, whether it be in something else, but
Like,
it's the
yeah.
energy and the passion and the why that gets
Yeah.
relayed to these people. So that's what I think is really important. So when you're talking about your unique story about coming from Colombia, not knowing a stitch of English, going halfway across the world to Australia, and then starting this sport that's male dominant and has, as you mentioned, like you felt like you started late in, and you have all these incredible accomplishments in such a short, compact time that usually takes men and women
Yeah.
10, 12, 15 years. And
So
you were just killing it, you're on fire, and now you're starting this amazing professional career, which there's no stopping. You're
no,
going to keep going, and you're going to, you're doing
point.
everything that you need to do to get to the top. And your
Exactly.
unique story, imagine there's a young girl out there that's looking at this and is like, oh my
Oh,
God, like I want to be just like that.
that's so good. That's what we like. What you're doing is amazing.
Oh,
That just we just need to help each other and get these stories out there, because it just what you say, it just inspire others. And as we sometimes complain that we don't get the same exposure or the same money or whatever, it's, I mean, obviously we want equality, but we have to first create that equality. Like we gotta support each other. We gotta,
yes.
all those stories has to come out. All females boxers have to come start talking to each other, come grow and know, because that's what men do. They actually grow each other. I mean, I can see it.
They
They
love each other.
help. They just like go, you go, and it's just like we need to keep doing it and doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that that's because there's so few girls in this, like in ratio to men, I
Yeah,
think that that's something really important, is to really bring each other together, because I think the lack of numbers with the girls, I think that almost creates more competitiveness, because you never know, is this girl
yeah,
going to come up a weight class? Is she going to come down the weight class? Because there's so little in the weight
yeah,
classes in
yeah,
comparison. So it's
yeah,
almost like we already create this kind of, without even realizing, like a competitive nature towards each other. But we
yeah,
should really be coming together like, yeah, like I might fight her and that would be great. I might fight
yeah, of
her
course.
and that might be great too. Just like
Yeah,
men are, you know?
yeah, I mean, it's a job. Like, I answered to one of the Instagram followers. I was like, I just love my job. Like, this is a job. So that angry person you saw in the ring, trying to punch her, I have to do it. I mean, I've been training
Yeah.
so long for that.
Yeah.
Like I was training for long, and so has she. But you have a job, and you gotta finish your job, and
Of
then
course.
after that, we come back to be friends. We come back to chat, and that's it. But that was my job. I was like, yeah,
Of
I was
course. It's just
work.
business in the ring. It's just business.
Correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have a friend, Jessica Burgess. I had her on the show too. Her and I, she's one of the girls that I've had like 5 fights with. And her and I are like best friends outside of the ring. Literally best friends. She lives like 3 hours away from me. But we always check in with each other once in a while, like, hey, what's going on? And we send like essays to each other, like just updating it, like what's whatever. But yeah, we've, and she even wrote an article one time explaining her journey through boxing. And she mentioned
Yeah,
her specific encounter with me. And she, like, it was the first time that she realized that she could have a good friend in boxing and still want to punch them in the face when it comes to go in the ring.
yeah, she can. Yeah, true.
Right? Honestly, those are some great fights too, actually. And we're hugging and kissing each other after, like, that was amazing. You did fantastic.
Like, that's the thing that I only share with Christy Harris. I
Yeah.
like we follow each other. We are happy when she wins, when she goes, when she accomplishes. I'm so happy because that's how she is. Like, it's so good out. Like when I lost against her for the Olympics, I was crying my eyes out, and she knew, and she hugged me and she said, I know how much this meant to you, and I can feel your pain, and I love you, and I hope you can pass that and continue your journey. I was just like, wow,
That's
that
so
was
beautiful.
so, oh, she's an amazing woman. I love her. Like she did that to me, and I love it. No, just like, it wasn't her, oh, I won, blah, blah, blah. It was, she felt the pain of me not getting that spot, and it was so nice.
That's
And
beautiful.
also in the tournaments overseas, she I saw her training. I was inspired by her. Like, she was training all the time, her diet, and I was just like, I was like, I need to follow her like she's the one. And yeah, so nice. Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy that
Yeah,
you reached that
like
moment
that.
because that probably made that experience because obviously something so big like an Olympic qualifier, obviously, of course, you're heartbroken when you don't get the result that you wanted,
Yeah.
but that probably felt just a little bit better, that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? She came and like just that support rather
Yeah.
than gloating.
And when you lose the fight against a good opponent and you were not robbed or anything like that, it was just a good match and she was better that day. What can I do? Like, I'm not taking any, I don't have any excuses. I wasn't sick, I wasn't tired, I just did my best and she was better that day. And my hats off to her because, yeah, well, what can we do? It wasn't my best performance, but she was there better and then done. Congratulations. So that's why it just hurt because you lost and losing is never nice.
No, nobody wants to lose, right? But
Of
it's always a
course.
learning experience at the end of the day. It's like that's something that I think takes, well, high level athletes, we all relate to this. Losses, they're not losses, they're always learning experiences because you never lose when you show up and you
Yeah.
perform. That's never a
It
loss.
needs to hurt though. It has to hurt.
Yes,
If it didn't hurt you, you didn't want it bad enough.
exactly.
This is
Exactly.
when people see me crying when I lose. Oh, but you did. I mean, just like just let me feel the
Yeah,
pain, please. I trained so hard. I work. I left this and that. And if it doesn't hurt you, then the same emotion, like the same happiness you saw when I won the pro debut, is the same. I get the same when I lose. I just get onto this sad crying, but I need that. I feel like when I lose, I need that. I need to feel that for example, sometimes you don't do enough or things like that, which are worse. That's another lessons that we as an elite athletes learn. You have to leave everything there.
yes, yeah,
That one, that when you leave everything in the ring, that doesn't hurt. Like it hurts because you lose, but you can get over that quicker. But when you actually know that you were lazy or you didn't train enough
yeah.
or you just didn't perform, that is that one, oh
That
that's that
stinks.
one. That one stays. And that's yeah. Yeah, always feel it. You have to
Of
to
course,
grow.
absolutely, because you get motivated and you get ambitious from those types of losses because you never wanna make that mistake again. So it always
Correct.
pushes you to be better if you want it bad enough, as
Yes,
we
that
said.
is correct. True.
Well, I absolutely loved this conversation. This was so much fun. And is there anything else that you wanna tell our audience?
Um, well, no, just like, first, if you can follow my journey, obviously my goal is a world title. As you mentioned before, it's a small group of females on this division. So I know I got a big chance. Um, so follow my journey. I know I'm gonna make it. You're gonna see it. I've been training hard and more hard and hard and hard. It's gonna be amazing. Secondly, age is a number, 100%. That's my thing. And for females, unfortunately, we have different paths as males, and that doesn't matter. I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact of life, and you can't change that. But don't let that be an excuse to get where you want to get. Yeah, in any sport, in your life as a professional, even yeah, as a whatever you want to achieve, don't let that be an excuse just because you're a female. We have to stop doing that. We gotta stop that, like that label. We just need to work hard, and I know things will come, things
Stop
will
putting
happen.
restrictions on ourself.
Exactly, because that's what we do. We just put excuses and label because it's this and that. No, like the sport is growing, so we making that happening. So more money is gonna come. It's not nobody's fault. That we just need to make it more exciting, keep making it bigger, and it's gonna come. That's it. In sport, I mean.
Yes.
But yeah, no, nothing like. Yeah, just be happy every day, follow your dreams, and every day when you wake up, just be grateful for whatever you have.
Even if it
Like,
takes you across the world.
exactly.
What is your
And
Instagram
it-
name? It's boxer_Ruiz.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So for everybody that wants to follow her, boxer, BOXER_RUIZ. There she is. Thank you so much, Viviana. And put them up for me.
Ah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you so
join
much.
us, everybody, next week for our next episode of The Female Fist. Thank you, everybody, for joining.